Duggar Dynasty Shaken. Jana Duggar's hidden legacy revealed as Daughter Drops Baby Bombshell. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe and turn on notifications for exclusive Duggar family news and updates. Join now and never miss a moment. What if everything you thought you knew about the Duggar family was just the surface? What if the quietest Duggar, the one who stayed out of the spotlight, refused to play by the family's fame game, and chose her own path, was secretly building a legacy stronger than the headlines could ever capture? Get ready to witness a seismic shift in the Duggar narrative. A daughter raised in silent grace, far from the cameras and chaos, has just rocked the foundation of the family's carefully guarded world, with one life-changing revelation. No glitz, no hype, just real emotion, real transformation, and a baby announcement no one saw coming. This isn't just another Duggar pregnancy. This is a turning point. A generational torch passed quietly, but powerfully. Stay with us as we uncover the full story, layer by layer, truth by truth. Because by the end of this journey, you won't just know what happened. You'll feel it. You'll question everything that came before. And you'll realize Jana Duggar wasn't silent. She was building something bigger. Let's begin. The unexpected often carries the most weight, especially in families where traditions run deep and public curiosity never fades. That's precisely why the latest development involving the Duggar family is making such quiet but undeniable waves. This time, it's not a heavily promoted announcement or a grand reveal in front of a camera crew. It's something more intimate and perhaps more reflective of a different phase in life for a woman who's often been defined by her silence and steadiness. Jana Duggar. Yes, it's true. In a moment that blends the personal with the profound, Jana Duggar's second daughter has reportedly shared life-changing news she is expecting. The news comes not with fanfare, but with a quiet, deliberate joy, the kind that doesn't demand headlines but inevitably earns them. For years, Jana Duggar has been a name synonymous with patience. Known as the eldest Duggar daughter who famously defied the family's early marriage tradition, she lived under a quiet scrutiny. While her siblings moved on with marriages and babies in rapid succession, Jana chose a different rhythm. So when whispers first emerged that she had quietly married and then welcomed a child, fans were caught somewhere between disbelief and admiration. That was only the beginning. Now, the second chapter in this evolving story begins. Her daughter, still a young woman but evidently matured through grace and experience, has announced her pregnancy. There was no social media campaign, no tabloid collaboration, not even a scripted family episode to broadcast it. Instead, this news surfaced from those closest to her, reflecting a desire to protect what matters most while still honoring the truth of this new life coming into the world. People close to the family say the reveal happened during a small family gathering, attended mostly by siblings and a few trusted friends. There were tears, some hushed gasps, and ultimately a collective sense of awe. While the family is no stranger to baby news, after all, the Duggar legacy is built on children and the values tied to raising them. This instance carries a distinctly new tone. Unlike the early Duggar years when each pregnancy announcement came with carefully staged photographs and religious-themed captions, this was different. It was a moment of familial maturity. There were no expectations placed on the young mother-to-be, no comparisons to her cousins or aunts, no pressure to perform her joy for an audience. It was, according to one insider, the most real moment the family has had in a long time. What adds another layer of curiosity to the story is the public's almost complete unfamiliarity with Jana's second daughter. While the Duggar world once revolved around total visibility, where every milestone was filmed, published, or shared, Jana made a calculated effort to reverse that tradition. Her children were kept away from the spotlight, raised with a focus on privacy and intention. As a result, little is known about her daughter, let alone her romantic life or current stage of womanhood. And yet, it's this very lack of information that makes the news all the more compelling. Viewers, former fans, and critics alike are beginning to wonder, has Jana cracked the code? Has she found a way to raise a new generation of Duggars, free from the burdens of fame, religious performance, and constant judgment? One close family friend offered a rare glimpse into the mindset of the young woman now preparing to become a mother. She's focused. She's grounded. She didn't want this to be a headline. She wanted it to be a sacred moment, they said. That approach seems inherited straight from Jana herself, who, despite being born into one of reality television's most high-profile families, has always remained quietly subversive. This pregnancy could be seen as an act of generational healing, a moment where the patterns of the past are gently broken, not through rebellion, but through deliberate choice. It's not about hiding from the world, but choosing what parts of it to invite in. And in a family where public exposure was once a lifestyle, this return to personal discretion is quietly revolutionary. One cannot help but think back to the days when Jana was seen only as the homeschool teacher, the perennial caregiver in the background of family shots, rarely vocal and often misunderstood. Over time, she became the symbol of patience to some, oppression to others. But for those who watched closely, she was something else entirely. A woman waiting for the right time to shape her life on her own terms. That time, it seems, has now extended to her daughter. The wider Duggar family's reaction has been notably subdued. There's been no official statement and no joint congratulatory posts on any of the siblings' profiles. Whether that's a sign of respect for privacy or just the usual Duggar family media strategy remains unclear. But many believe it's a calculated silence, a choice not to exploit or overexpose, but simply to let a young woman experience motherhood for herself. The cultural significance of this moment shouldn't be ignored. In many ways, the Duggars were once held up as a symbol of traditional, ultra-conservative values. They endorsed early marriages, large families, and strict gender roles, all reinforced under a spotlight that many now view as damaging. But if this new chapter continues along its current trajectory, it might suggest a shift away from those rigid expectations. What's particularly noteworthy is how fans have responded to this news. Instead of the usual flood of critiques or moral debates, the tone across forums and social media seems almost uniformly supportive. If anyone deserves to raise a child in peace and love, it's Jana's daughter, one longtime viewer wrote. Others have commented on the poetic justice of the moment. The woman who waited now raising a daughter wise enough to do things differently. This development also brings up larger questions about the Duggar legacy. Are we witnessing the beginning of a more grounded, less public-facing generation? Or is this just a temporary deviation from the pattern, soon to be swallowed again by the demands of exposure and branding? Whatever the future holds, this moment belongs entirely to Jana and her daughter. It's a quiet rebellion, one that doesn't need a spotlight to shine. And in many ways, it's more powerful for it. Those close to the family have also hinted at how this pregnancy is reshaping relationships within the family circle. Jana's bond with her daughter has always been deep, but the announcement seems to have drawn them even closer. There's a renewed tenderness, they say, a shared understanding between two women who have had to define womanhood on their own terms and in vastly different ways. As for the father of the child, very little has been revealed. Sources close to the family describe him as respectful, grounded, and deeply committed, but no name or background has been offered. That silence is intentional. In a world where personal details are often currency, this choice to withhold names and histories is itself a form of protection, an act of love. The pregnancy has reportedly progressed smoothly so far. Though still early, family members have begun preparing in their own quiet ways. There's talk of repurposed nursery furniture, hand-sewn baby blankets, and the return of familiar traditions, but this time carried out with a softer touch. There is no production crew, no brand deals, no promotional angles, just a family coming together with fewer expectations and a deeper sense of presence. Even as the news spreads in whispers, it signals something far louder beneath the surface, a subtle, generational transformation within a family long thought unchangeable. And while this baby may not be born into the media-frenzied Duggar world that came before, they'll arrive in a home full of intention, healing, and something the family's early years often lacked: space to grow without judgment. It's impossible to predict how this news will affect the Duggar narrative in the long term. But if it's any indication of what's to come, the story that once felt predictable has just taken a hopeful, if quiet, new turn. And for those who have long watched Jana's journey with curiosity, empathy, or quiet respect, this moment feels like something deeper than just baby news. It feels like redemption in the smallest, sweetest, and most human way possible. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more exciting videos coming up next.